I was spending more on advertising, and yeah, I was getting more sales, but I kept wondering, where are all my profits? Have you been there? You spend more money on advertising than what you can make in profit. Have you ever been there when your ACOS is running at 200 to 300% and alarms go off, leaving you feeling like there's no hope of making any profit on Amazon? Well, I had to get smart about my ACOS. How about you? Do you want to get smart about yours and make the right decisions to get the best ACOS on your product? Well, stick around. Today I will share with you the smartest ACOS optimization decisions that you can make. First, what is ACOS? It is advertising cost of sales. ACOS is the simple ratio of the cost of advertising to sales. It represents how much advertising is needed in order to drive sales. In layman's terms, you could say that at an ACOS of 20%, you would be driving $5 of sales for every $1 spent on advertising, whereas a 200% ACOS would mean spending $2 on advertising just to make $1 in sales. The idea is to look at your ACOS and compare it against your product margin. If your ACOS is lower than the product margin, you are making money. So everything else that you spend to drive sales is more than what you're making in profit. ACOS is for profit management, as it measures the driving of sales through advertising. ACOS as a metric has been around for a long time in traditional marketing. In traditional advertising, you could look nationally and maybe say, hey, we are running 25% ACOS nationally, but locally in Cleveland, ACOS is at 60%, and in Philadelphia, ACOS is at 15%. Then you ask yourself, why are we weak in Cleveland? What is the competition doing that we're not? It's the same principle today with Amazon PPC, but instead of the geographic categories of ACOS, it can be broken down by keyword niches ACOS. How you go about using ACOS for profit management depends on whether your goals are to maximize profit or maximize product sales. Generally, the more visible one has above the competition for their advertising will lead to more advertising cost. If you're looking to have high product sales, then you'll want to have maximum impressions, which will cost more and mean higher ACOS. No matter what your goal is, there is going to be wasted spending that you will want to lower throughout. Today, I want to show you how to really optimize ACOS if you want to lower the wasted spending depending on your goal. You can get there by seeing how ACOS responds to various PPC spending ranges that you are doing. So that you can visualize how wasted spending is happening, let's look at this generic chart of CPC versus ACOS. You can see that once you are bidding $1 CPC, you've already shot through making a chance of a profit. So to be profitable, you must keep your CPC below $1. Then the $1 to $2 bid range begins to show that it costs more to make sales driven by PPC. Above $2, the ACOS steeply climbs, so you are at a point in which no matter how much you spend, you won't increase your sales substantially. So if your goal is not to make profit, but to maximize sales for market share, then you can spend up to $2 per click, after which you really become inefficient. Depending on your business, really high ACOS might be necessary if you consider the lifetime value of gained customers or even a delayed response from customers, or the high sales and incremental organic sales gain through paid ads. This ACOS chart is interesting because there is an entire range after $2.75 in which ACOS is profitable. Is a chart like this even possible? Yes, counterintuitive effects can happen at different CPC bid ranges. As you walk down the CPC ranges, it does not necessarily mean a higher CPC equals a higher ACOS. Would you choose CPC at 50 cents or $2.75 if the ACOS is the same? Most likely, the higher CPC is reaching a better quality audience, which reflects better on your listing. To best analyze the charts, you want to do the following steps. Look for CPC range chunks of similar slopes. Number 2, for CPC ranges that are flat, moderately increasing, or decreasing, you want to consider spending at the max of the range because you are getting the most sales at those points. This is because generally higher CPC means higher visible impressions. Avoid ranges with steep inclines, and you want to consider CPC bids at the lower range of these steep inclines. Consider why certain ranges are more profitable than others. It could be due to intense bidding competition, different ad display location spots converting better, or different keyword audience responding better. Fifth, you want to break down the underlying numbers of the charts to separate keyword niches and notice any differences in slope between the niches. You could also break down in other means, such as the time of day, different product description tests, first page ranking, etc. Through your breakdown analysis, do you notice any large wiggles of the slopes between corresponding CPC ranges? If so, then treat your keyword niches with different ACOS targets. Now that we know the steps for analysis, let's look at a generic example of how you could optimize ACOS by using a breakdown into the keyword niches. Let's look at the global ACOS without breaking it down first. In this example, looking at the chart, you'll want to set your CPC bids at about 35 cents in order to break even if the profit margin is 35%. So for every $1 spent, we make 3 in revenue, but 0 in profit. It's pretty much linear progression, and the more that's spent on CPC bid to drive sales becomes less efficient. It's showing that it needs to be a little bit below 50 cents CPC to be profitable. And we know that lower CPC typically means fewer impressions and conversions. Now, let's break this down into 3 keyword ACOS charts, assuming that each keyword group has the same number of impressions. These all sum up to global ACOS. If your keywords have different impression levels, then you may want to combine the ACOS of each keyword to sum up to the global ACOS. You will notice that the slopes really do wiggle when comparing all 3 keywords. What is striking is the keyword 2 is immediately inefficient at initial bid ranges, whereas the 2 other keywords have muted flat slopes until we get to $1.25. So how do we proceed with optimizing for the best ACOS? Under each keyword, let's implement bids at the CPC before the first step slope occurs, and then look at how the new global ACOS changes. We can now bid up to almost $2 CPC and break even within the profit margin. Being at higher CPC typically means more impressions and clicks, and that will lead to more sales, and more importantly, it means that any wasted ad spend from before can be put into keywords with more efficient ACOS. So these charts present common results that show typical marketing effort versus marketing benefit response curves. To calculate these charts, you should typically do regression analysis and develop the response function. That means that you will need to run your PPC campaigns at various bid ranges to get the data that you need. Also, these charts are simple and represent a snapshot in time. Advanced charts will take into account other dynamics such as seasonality, competition, pricing, product description, creative tests, and more. So, what do you think? Isn't this a cool way to optimize your ACOS? Now you know that you will be smarter in optimizing your ACOS from now on.